Hello, Ida. You're on the air. Okay.
And thank God I am. Because when I spoke to your gentleman that answered the phone, I tell you I was pretty steaming.
Patrick Murphy.
And I'm still steaming. And I'll tell you the truth, I was so glad when Minister King hung up. Because I got to tell you, they're starting to turn my stomach elephant.
Well, what's wrong?
And I'll tell you why. Because, first of all, they backed down a budget where they had all these cuts. And me being a minimum wage worker, okay, who's looking towards ABE so I can change that. Now, if all these cuts were justified when they backed down the budget, now they're going to reverse some of them. So whose back is that going to come back on? Is it going to come back on my back?
Well, how so?
Me as a minimum wage worker, if the money needs to be there to balance the budget, inflation is going to have to go up. The money's got to be made up somewhere.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is that why don't they go out and have these consultations and have these people bring their concerns and issues before the government, before any budget decisions is made? And now they got to spend another big crack of money going around doing the same thing all over again. And you know what? To me, it's nothing short of the fact because the Premier's down in the polls. God love her heart, she's down in the polls, yes, and it's a prime example of what happened. But what frightens me, Patty, is that this extra funding is going to come back on the backs of people like me. And you remember one thing. The people that are working up in Mossrat Falls is bringing home a good wage. Everybody's not getting up in Mossrat Falls. And remember, when they go out to buy a bag of sugar, a lot of them is making $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 a year. Uh-huh. They're paying $5.50 for a bag of sugar, the same as what I'm paying, on $10 an hour. And Patty, I'm going to tell you, if I get one NDP come to my door and I can find a broom to chase them down over the steps, I don't want to hear telephone. Why? Because listen. The unions is what is going to break the country. They are going to break the country, and it really, really upsets me, Peter. It truly, truly upsets me.
You know what's interesting about that, Ida, though, is the unions would say to fight back is that it's people like you who they're fighting for. If it wasn't for unions, then the downward pressure on people's wages would ensure that we're all making a minimum wage before long, as opposed to keeping corporations' feet to the fire and demanding and using their legal rights to strike and add that type of pressure to make sure we don't have the downward pressure on wages.
They're doing some good things, but they don't realise that every time that they fight for umpteen number of people for wages to be increased and increased and increased, my inflation goes up and my $10 an hour stays the same.
That's part of it.
I don't want, and I have to tell you, it really, really scares me. Government really scares me. All I had to do was just listen to Peter Panashaway's comment with regards to sitting on an issue for the province until he got something approved for Labrador.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Now, well, you know what? In the beginning, I said proper good thing for him to do, but to just stop and think about what else is going on behind closed doors that me, that's marking an X, to put these people into power, are they doing to me? Do they forget that they're employed by people like us?
They do. Sometimes they absolutely do. Until it comes time to talk to you.
And I know they do, Paddy, because I sat into a meeting with a minister who rolled his eyes at me and who called me, who talked down to me like I was a kindergarten student. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. Nobody deserves it. An animal don't deserve it. And it got my stomach turned. Truly it do. There's millions and billions of dollars gone into Muskrat Falls. That's why the budget was as tough as what it is. That's where all the money is gone. Billions of dollars of royalties coming in from the oil, and we haven't got enough to keep us afloat. Where's it all going? Well, tell me, where's it all going?
Well, all you got to do is look at the budget to see where it's all going. Every dollar that goes out is right there to see. Now, whether or not people agree with where the money's going is a different matter.
Well, you know, Paddy, I have to tell you what. If you come down in this district, right to Lancer-Clear, you'll find that there was very little money spent down here. And, Paddy, I heard you speak to Dwight Barr.
Yep.
Okay? And you mentioned about the candidates that were putting their name forward for nomination or whatever, and you had mentioned Lisa Dempster was the only one so far come to get in.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, Peter. Maybe politics will change who she is, but she's a good woman. And, Peter, you know what? She might not be a household name or well known across this province, but she is a household name from Cartwright to Lanceclair. And I can tell you right now, Peter, that
Paddy.
if she can get, Paddy, I'm sorry,
Okay.
if she can get her foot inside the House of Assembly, that she'll ruffle some of their feathers and straighten up some of their ties. And that, I can warn you, that will happen. But, Paddy, the issue with reversing these decisions just goes to show that government didn't do the homework before they made the decisions with the budget to begin with.
And they may pay a political price for that. My concern, as I just tweeted at someone a while ago, is my concern is not their political future. I want it done right. If that means they have to admit they need to strike an independent committee to review cuts and they repeal some of the decisions, fine. Because I don't care about any of that. They'll all sink or swim on their own accord politically. I want the right thing done. I don't care who's in power. I couldn't care less. As long as they're doing the right thing, in my own opinion. And I mean, I know my opinion is only mine alone, but I don't care what goes on. If King reviews it and we do the right some decisions that weren't part of the budget, fine, because that's their own political problem. I just want things to be as appropriate as they possibly can so far as how we spend our money and value for it.
Yeah, well, Paddy, I agree with you 100%, and that's because I'm after touching on how many issues, and I'm getting all confused in my own mind because I only got a little bit of time. Yep. But what you just said there was a mouthful. You don't care what they got to do in order to reverse it and make it right.
Sure, I don't care.
All right? That's perfect. Now, that brings me right back to none of two of it. And the demonstration that went on in Goose Bay last weekend, where Jim Learning ended up in jail and went on a hunger strike for whatever, how many days, 5 or 6 days, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Paddy, I'm telling you right now that the people that's in that government, provincially and federally, is not listening to the people of none of two of us. And it's about time that they made a wrong right.
Yeah.
They are doing wrong. And you know what? When I turn on the evening news, all right, I hear more about what's going on in City Hall in St. John's than I do about these important issues up here in Labrador. If the atrocious roads in St. John's was being driven over by the residents, like what we got to drive over, I'll tell you they'd have it on the news every other day.
Well, I'll tell you what, it could be on because driving around St. John's is like driving through a minefield. I can guarantee you that. Whatever people think we're living high in the hog down here, you drive down the Marcher Road, you'd swear you're in Bangladesh. It is disgraceful.
Paddy, if you were to come down on our roads, I guarantee you would consider you got roads of gold in there. I drove on the city streets of St. John's for 15 years.
I've been up there on the roads. I know what's going on, and I know it's rotten. And I just think that we sometimes, not you necessarily.
Is not listening, and Paddy, I have to tell you.
Okay, quick.
Cathy Dunderdale and her government have forgotten about rural Newfoundland and Labrador, and particularly southeast Labrador. And I'm telling you they have. Paddy, we haven't got a fit highway. We got no air service. We get mail every now and again. I can't say it's scheduled. I sent off taxes to St. Anthony to be done, and it was 13 days from the time it left here in Charlottetown till I got to St. Anthony.
Okay.
Like, our air ambulance service is gone. Then they decided they were going to take the bus service away from us. And, Paddy, people don't hardly have the $40 to pay for a voucher to go across, let alone have to pay for to go out on the bus and then stay over there for 3 or 4 days and then come back out of it and then have to go again in 2 weeks and wait for 3 months to be reimbursed for the first trip.
Ida, you make a lot of good points, and I think you really do summarize the feelings of an awful lot of people in Newfoundland and Labrador. I've enjoyed the conversation. I hope you call again. I got to go to the break.
Okay, thank you, Paddy, very much.
All the very best.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.